What's up, Mash? Today marked the beginning of a journey that left me with more than just miles behind me. It handed me a few lessons, a handful of realizations, the quiet kind of contentment that doesn't ask to be celebrated. As I mentioned before, we were heading back to my province for a special occasion. My fiancée and I set off before the sun could even introduce itself to the morning. There was something oddly familiar about stumbling through the early hours, half awake, moving more on instinct than conscious thought. It reminded me of childhood trips, when our parents were the keepers of the itinerary. We never questioned the hour. We never worried about the tickets. We just followed the footsteps in front of us. Life has a funny way of turning those memories inside out. This time, there was no one to wake us up except the responsibilities we'd inherited. The hand that once guided me had become the hand I offered to someone else. Somewhere along the years, without any ceremony, we stopped being the children following the journey and became the one responsible for making sure it continued. And strangely enough, it never felt heavy. Some responsibilities don't weigh you down, but they give your shoulders a purpose. We both needed this escape. Manila has a way of filling every corner of your mind with deadlines, traffic, and a constant hum of obligation. My fiancée still had to carry her work with her, while I took charge of the travel itself. It was quite a partnership, the kind that doesn't keep score. Because love has never been a competition of who carries more. It's simply two people taking turns lifting the weight. We arrived at the airport right on time. For no other than nostalgia, we bought coffee and cup noodles. It felt ridiculously comforting. For a moment, the airport stopped being an airport. It became one of those bus stops from years ago, where we'd stretch our stiff legs, fill out empty stomachs, wash the dust off our faces, and prepare for the next stretch of road. Funny how human heart doesn't remember places as much as it remembers feelings. Sometimes all it takes is a taste of hot broth or the bitterness of coffee to unlock a door you didn't even know was still there. When we landed, we waited for my brother, whose flight was a few hours behind ours. We didn't expect the welcoming committee of flies and mosquitoes. They seemed particularly excited to meet my fiancée, who spent most of the trip defending herself from an army that refused to take no for an answer. It wasn't exactly the warmest first impression of my hometown. Then again, no journey has ever been made memorable because everything went perfectly. Eventually, we made it home. And home has a language of its own. It speaks through tables that are always too full, through smiles that have been waiting longer than you realize, through conversations that pick up exactly where they left, as if time had only stepped out for a moment. We shared stories, rested our tired bodies, and ended the evening with a dinner that tasted far better than any recipe could explain. By the time our head finally found a pillow, the day had passed like a scenery outside a moving window. The exhaustion, travel, the laughter, the reunion. They blended together like smoke, possible to hold but impossible to forget. You spend your childhood trying to leave home so you can see the world. But then one day, you realize the world had been quietly teaching you why home matters in the first place. See you around, man.